So right before recording this, I got stuck in the loop of watching YouTube videos again and again and again, trying to find more YouTube videos just to watch, which I know is the worst way to go about actually doing stuff that's beneficial for you. And I've talked about that in my previous videos. But I don't know why I keep getting into the loophole. I think to change the mentality of trying to look for YouTube videos to watch would simply be by the that would simply be by just trying to think of another purpose, trying to think of a higher purpose that I can achieve, which I know contradicts watching YouTube videos. So for example, if my purpose or if one of my values or goals is just to make something incredibly different that hasn't been done before, which takes little to no inspiration from anything that has been done before, the best way to do that is to literally just not consume what has been done before, or trying to feed myself into the loophole of everything that other people do. Like all the top YouTubers you watch, the reason why they're at the top, or at least most of them are at the top, they're usually following a formula. And that formula is replicated by others who look up to them. And then they become one of the top YouTubers again. And they establish an audience. Now that sounds boring to me, man. And I was watching this guy on YouTube, Danny Mullen. I mean, we can discuss how his videos are later, but I'm not saying I agree with all of the stuff he does, because some of the stuff he does is over the top, and some of the stuff he does might not be the most moral things. but one thing that he brought up was the mainstream, or at least what most people are doing nowadays on YouTube, or even rap, or the whole entertainment industry in general, is that they're all being so basic. They're all following a formula that's not too controversial, so they can appeal to more people. They never actually address their own views in any of them. And guess what? I'm one of the people who despises that and still consumes the people's content who make content that is incredibly safe, and safe in the way that they don't talk about controversial stuff, or that's incredibly bland, and they're trying to what's it called? They're trying to appeal to a huge audience. And when you're trying to appeal to a huge audience, what a lot of people do is they just become more vague with their ideas. Like some person was talking about this. Like if you look at some people's songs, like if you look at a lot of people's songs in the mainstream, or pop or rap or anything, when they talk about, for example, girls, right? It won't be like the girl with incredibly specific characteristics, or like that could be personality or physical characteristics. Instead, they're like, you're the perfect girl because I have my hands around you. Now think about that. You can have your hands around any girl. Or I like your eyes and the way that they reflect light. Any eyes will reflect light. Or let's think about another one. When you smile, you look better, okay? Now, who doesn't look better when they smile? Like it's dumb stuff like that they do to appeal to more people, which is right from a business standpoint. But me personally, I don't respect that as much as something like someone keeping it 100 and them showing that to all of their audience, them displaying their values and their goals to their audience. And I think I'll finally break away from the cycle of watching YouTube videos again, because all of the people, or at least most of the people on YouTube, they're just they're just following everyone else and what everyone else does, and they're getting promoted by YouTube, and that's why more and more famous people do that, because the controversial ones, guess what? They don't get ads on their videos, or they don't get promoted by YouTube. They're not even in sub boxes, so their fans can't even know when they upload, which really puts their videos at a place where no one can, basically most people can't even find them. And when they do find them, the creator themselves who's making controversial videos can't even uh, can't even monetize off of them. So a lot of them quit. I'm not saying that making controversial videos is a good thing. I'm just saying, as long as you have opinions and you're sharing them as exactly how they are in your mind, that's the best way to do it. For example, me, right now, I'm just thinking, I would have thought this anyways. No? So I guess that's a pet peeve of mine that I've just that what I mean this is not the first time I've noticed it, but in the context of YouTube videos, yeah, this is the first time I've noticed it, which is all of these, and with the help of Danny Mullen, of course. But the thing I've noticed is exactly what I said, that all of these people that I'm watching, or most other people are watching, are just too vague. Or even when you're watching someone else's opinion, who is actually making, who is actually keeping it 100 and telling you everything that's on their mind and not censoring stuff, even their content gets repetitive after a while, because it's their views, they won't change a lot. And the point is that, honestly, I should start living my own life instead of living or viewing someone else's life. And even if it's just like reading a book actually adds a lot of value to my life. It's a great habit to get into. And even though I'm still practicing escapism while reading a book, especially if it's not a self-help book, I still appreciate it because I feel happy after it. I don't feel pleasure, or I do feel pleasure, but it's more satisfactory. So whenever I mention pleasure or satisfaction, I mean two completely different things. When I say pleasure, it's short term, but when I say satisfaction, I think of it as more long term. Um, Dan Bilzerian was one of the people to point this out on the Joe Rogan podcast. He was like, most people, what they think causes happiness is not true. Like, getting money, getting girls, doing drugs does not cause happiness. What it does is it gives you pleasure. To get the satisfactory feeling of happiness, which is more long term than what pleasure provides, you have to do different things. And for me, in this my specific case, that is not watching YouTube and spending that time doing something else, something that will make the quality of my life better. So that was pretty enlightening to think about. Now I hope if any of you are watching, you keep working at what you are, and that you actually know that I'm not the, although I share my although I share ways on how to get out of this escapist habits, every day I still go through them. Every day I have to try to fight off this 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 endless cycle of wasting my time. And it's not endless. There were times that I stopped it. It's just very hard for me to do it again now. It's one of the hardest it's ever been. Yeah, it's the hardest it's ever been. I don't think I've ever faced this much this much inconvenience and this much failure when I was trying my dopamine detoxes or just a better life in general. Like I told you guys 2 days ago or one day ago, I was at the bottom of the roller coaster, -1, right? Then I started getting back up till yesterday, and now I'm right back at the bottom again. So now, so now I'll try to get back at the top, or at least at zero first, to reach just maintenance. And then I'll try to get at 1, which is the top, the peak. I said I will get to the peak by the end of the week, and I have no doubt in that. I might even do it in 2-3 days. The reason why I say 2-3 days instead of one day is because it's too. You never know if you're at the peak on the first day, because there might just be a fluke. Greatness is not something that just happens for one day. You have to repeat it. You have to repeat it a bunch of times before you know that you're great. In my case, you don't know if you're successful with the dopamine detox unless you repeat it a bunch of times. I hope you all have a great day. And let me see what time it is. I think it's 4:24 for me. 4:24 in the morning because my sleep schedule's messed up and I haven't slept yet. But I hope your guys' sleep schedule is normal. See ya later.